When police investigators and scientists were urgently called to examine a statue of the Virgin Mary weeping inside a church in the United States, they were absolutely certain they would expose yet another fraud within a few hours. But what I am about to show you in this video will shake every certainty you have. This was not a porous plaster statue. It was not a simple trick caused by condensation. This statue was made of pure, solid, impenetrable bronze, and yet, in front of hundreds of witnesses and cameras, it was weeping real tears. When a secular, completely independent chemical laboratory finally analyzed the molecular composition of the liquid flowing from those metal eyes, the results literally left skeptics speechless and brought an entire nation to its knees. You need to watch this video until the very last second, because the secret hidden inside these chemically impossible tears contains an urgent and frightening warning for humanity today. Think about that day. The scorching desert heat of the American Southwest, May 2018. Hobbs, New Mexico. Inside Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church, Sunday Mass was unfolding as usual. Then, suddenly, an uneasy murmur began to move through the pews. The people in the front rows stopped singing. They stared at the altar, pale-faced, their eyes wide open in disbelief. Father Jose Segura, the parish priest, interrupted the celebration and walked toward the beautiful sculpture of the Virgin Mary placed in the sanctuary. What he saw defied every law of logic. The statue was weeping. This was not a slight trace of moisture. Large, heavy, shining drops were forming in the metal eyes, slowly sliding down the bronze cheeks, until they dripped onto the Virgin's hands. Dozens of people rushed forward with handkerchiefs to wipe her face, convinced it was a trick of the light or perhaps a leaking air conditioning pipe. But the reality froze them in place. The more they wiped her face, the more she continued to weep, without stopping. Why didn't the scientific community simply dismiss the whole thing with a laugh? Because of one detail that made fraud impossible: the material. Throughout history, fraudsters have often used statues made of plaster, ceramic, or wood, spongy materials. You simply inject water inside, and it slowly seeps out through tiny, invisible scratches. But the statue in Hobbs had been cast in solid bronze at temperatures above 1,000 degrees. Bronze is one of the densest and most impenetrable metals on the face of the earth. It is physically and mathematically impossible for bronze to sweat or retain liquids. If someone had poured water inside it, it would have simply remained there, trapped inside a prison of metal. This single, undeniable physical impossibility caused the case to explode nationally. Within 48 hours, the story went viral. Thousands of Americans flooded the streets of Hobbs to see the miracle. Television crews turned on their cameras. Faced with this media chaos, the Catholic Church, which is incredibly strict and skeptical regarding modern miracles precisely to avoid fanaticism, intervened with an iron hand. The Bishop of the Diocese, Oscar Cantú, wanted to expose the deception. He ordered a ruthless investigation and called in the civil authorities. The church was isolated. Investigators and experts entered. The suspicion of the police was obvious. A fraudster had installed a system of invisible microtubes, or a tiny hydraulic pump hidden in the ceiling or inside the hollow core of the statue. They were ready to arrest the culprit. But this is where the investigation entered territory no one expected. The technicians inspected the wall, the ceiling, the base. Nothing. So they removed the statue. They inserted high-resolution endoscopic cameras, the kind used by surgeons, directly into the internal openings of the bronze, navigating through the darkness of the metal in search of hidden reservoirs. What appeared on the video monitor swept away every conspiracy theory. The inside of the statue was dry and arid. There were no tiny tubes. But there was an even more chilling piece of evidence that left them speechless. The dark interior of the statue was filled with dense, old spiderwebs. They were geometrically intact and perfect. If someone had pumped even a single drop of liquid inside to make it come out of the eyes, those fragile spider webs would have been soaked, torn, or destroyed by the pressure. Instead, they were absolute and irrefutable forensic proof that no fluid had ever passed through that interior. The tears were literally materializing out of nowhere, directly on the surface of the eyes. But what no one imagined was that the real mystery was not the statue, it was the liquid. The investigators were sweating cold. They were at a dead end, but the diocese wanted definitive proof. Under strict police supervision and wearing sterile gloves, almost 500 milliliters of these mysterious tears were collected from the statue. The dense liquid was sealed in tamper-proof vials. But to avoid accusations of a religious conspiracy, the samples were not sent to the Vatican. They were sent to a secular state chemical laboratory for a blind analysis. The chemists were not told where the liquid had come from. They placed it into powerful mass spectrometers to analyze its molecular composition. If it was a fraud, they would find tap water or pharmacy glycerin. Days of tension passed. Then the official report arrived on the bishop's desk, and the results shattered the last wall of atheistic skepticism. The chemical test certified that in those tears, there was not even a single molecule of water. Zero. No condensation, no human fluid, no synthetic product. It was oil, but not an oil you can buy in any store. The spectrometer revealed an olive oil of impossible purity, infused at a molecular level with a highly complex and sweet balsamic base. The director of the laboratory was stunned. How could a cold block of bronze spontaneously secrete such a pure and complex lipid substance? It was impossible. At that point, the scientific investigation could not provide a natural explanation. But when the report reached the theologians, the chemical result of that oil sent chills down the spine of every priest. That specific chemical composition, pure olive oil mixed with fragrant balsam, has a very precise name. It is called sacred chrism. It is the holiest, most precious, and most untouchable oil in the entire Catholic Church. It is consecrated only by the bishop once a year. It is the oil used for baptisms, confirmations, and the ordination of priests. It is the seal of the Holy Spirit. Do you understand what this means? The Virgin Mary was not weeping ordinary water from human sadness. She was weeping the very substance of salvation. Heaven was physically pouring the essence of the sacraments onto an altar in modern America, as if desperately trying to awaken the soul of a country that has forgotten God. And as if to confirm this, the situation inside the church quickly descended into the mystical. Skeptical journalists, police officers, and ordinary curious visitors who entered the church were struck by something overwhelming. It was not suggestion. A physical, dense, incredibly sweet, and overpowering scent of fresh roses flooded the nave. It was so powerful that grown men and non-believers fell to their knees in tears as soon as they crossed the threshold, overwhelmed by what the saints call the odor of sanctity. Critics tried one final desperate card. They accused the priest of spraying perfume at night. The police took the closed-circuit security camera footage, operating 24 hours a day. The security cameras were checked. The result? No one ever had approached the statue at night. And yet, every morning when the doors were opened, the bronze cheeks of Our Lady were once again streaked with sacred chrism. The case of Hobbs was officially closed by the investigation as having no natural explanation. It is one of the clearest, most documented, and most shocking miracles of recent history. But if science cannot answer the question, how is she weeping? Then we, as believers, must answer a far more important question. Why is she weeping? In 2018, and even more today, the message is clear. Mary is a mother. And what mother would not weep after seeing her children destroy one another? She weeps over our broken families, over our wars, over the depression consuming the young, over a world that has replaced God with the screens of our phones. But tears of oil are not tears of deadly despair. Oil heals. Oil cures wounds. Her tears are a visceral call of love saying to us, "Come home. The sacraments will save you." If you feel that this miracle is speaking to you, if your heart stirred as you heard this story, do not ignore her tears today. Do not click away. I ask you to join us spiritually right now. Write this exact prayer in the comments below. Virgin Mary, dry your tears. Forgive my sins, protect my family from evil, and heal my heart with your holy oil. Lead me to Jesus. Amen. Share this video and subscribe to the channel to become part of this community of faith. May God bless us all.